Welcome back.
How you doing?
A week later,
1 week later.
we survived the Tour de Beers.
Still hungover.
That was pretty good.
It was fun.
We've had a few comments. Did anyone get past 5 beers besides us?
I had a hard time getting past 5 beers.
So did I. I know I did watch some of it again, and it looked like it was a slippery slope after that 5th one.
There's some highlights in there. There's still some gold to be dug up out of that episode.
Probably.
We had a few good laughs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's on your mind today?
I plucked 3 discs out just because I thought they had pretty cool artwork. And we used to highlight discs pretty frequently, so I guess this is just kind of us getting back to that. But I'll start with this one on my right here. This is a stamp drawn up by a local pro's son. Drew up a rough draft, and then we had somebody at DD finish it up. This is Sammy Keddington's stamp for her Thursday Warrior League. So they're doing a big league championships in February, and asked if she could get 100 custom stamp discs. So I went ahead and picked out some of the coolest plastics that Trilogy had, and ended up with a really cool shield stamp on there.
That's really great.
Yeah.
That's a nice.
It's a good touch,
It's
right?
got the Arizona flag sky in there, right, with the
Yep.
basket.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep, cool little bit of
Clever.
local love.
Yeah, for sure.
The next disc is, I just thought this was such a cool, this is Charlie Goodpasture's tour stamp. And they did all of them in white. So with the white on white was, I thought, a super hot combo and I'm surprised that I even still have any of these discs because of how good it feels, how good Castoplast is, and how cool that gecko is on there.
Did you just say what model it was?
The Lotes.
Oh, it is the Lotes.
Did I say the Lotes? Probably not.
No, I probably did.
But great disc.
I love the Lotes.
Really glidey 9-speed, pretty overstable in my experience. But
the more they beat in, the better it gets.
Yeah, exactly. Just like fine wine, they age very well. Last disc is a John Dorn stamp. John Dorn does a lot of artwork. We sat next to him at the World Championships up in Flagstaff and got to look at some of his discs. And luckily, he let us buy some of them to put on the shelves because the guy is really, really talented. He also did the artwork for the PDGA membership Crave, the turtle stamp on that one. It seems like he really enjoys the aquatic creatures. He's got a whale behind us right here as well. This particular disc is a Glow Envy that he put this galactic turtle on.
Super cool.
Yep, super fun. But a lot of disc golfers are very particular about what they throw. They won't buy a disc if it has an ugly stamp. That's something that I guess we're highlighting a little bit today, is how cool the stamps can be.
Well, you brought that up before, there's a big stamp market out there.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of something I'm trying to get into as well with my stamp machine here. Custom stamps are a pretty big craze.
Where did that land with the PDGA?
So it's not really, it's kind of a negligible weight. So the ruling on it was, the rumor was that somebody from the PDGA had wrote somebody back saying, yeah, that's actually technically illegal. People can't stamp their discs because it adds something to the disc. And well, that's kind of silly because the foil really isn't adding anything at all.
Right.
It's very, very negligible. And if you were to go by what that guy said, then somebody like Mint Discs, if they stamp their own discs in-house, they're not the manufacturer of that disc. So technically all those would be PDGA illegal.
Right.
It doesn't really make any sense the way that guy had worded that.
Or any of the national stores around
Correct,
the country.
yeah.
From Foundation to
Hunter Hot Stamp.
The disc store, yeah. Right? They do all their own hot stamps.
Yeah.
Especially for tournaments and whatnot.
Right.
Right.
Correct. Although most people that run tournaments probably have just a manufacturer stamp up their deal for them. I mean, I've had all mine done through
I imagine that would be easier.
Trilogy, Innova, anybody willing to do it. Because they have artists there that can convert files for you and draw it up into a plate really quickly. So
it's kind of a neat thing. So just like any business, you're trying to get something done in terms of marketing. If it's a shirt, a pen, or a disc, a lot of times the marketing company or the company you're going to for those supplies can do all of it.
They want to make it easy on you because they're selling a product at the end of the day.
Smart.
Yep.
It's smart to make it easy. You don't want to have to go to 2 places to do one thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Smooth sailing, man.
Who's easiest to work with?
Well, for me, maybe I'm biased, is Trilogy. It's really easy to order Trilogy custom stuff because I can reach out to them. This one was actually hand drawn on a piece of paper, and I got a picture, and that's what I sent to them, and that's what they came up with.
Wow.
So the rough draft was pretty rough.
But the finish isn't.
But the finish is pretty much exactly his vision, I would think.
Wow, that's cool. Imagine they were pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, she was very excited. She made a post on Facebook and tagged the store and me, and that was really nice.
But all the companies do it.
Yeah, you can order custom stamp stuff through just about everybody.
So Innova, MVP, Discraft, all gonna do the same thing.
Discmania's opened it up too, even with their new setup.
Now, have you heard anything more about Discmania rolling into Kansas?
Rolling into Kansas?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We'll put everything under one big umbrella.
Huh.
House of Disc.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard anything about the House of Disc development. I'm curious about how their sponsorship situation is going to work out, just because they haven't really signed anybody so far. Outside of all the renewals on Latitude, I haven't really seen anything.
Ricky, Klein, anyone under House of Disc umbrella, can they throw only Trilogy, or can they throw Cast Class 2, or can they throw Discmania?
That's been the theory, is can they throw everything now?
Right.
Haven't heard anything yet. That'll be a question during the next partner meeting to try to figure out.
Well, I'm still holding to the fact that I think they're going to merge.
Yeah, kind of consolidate some of these brands.
These companies, these brands.
If it makes sense for the bottom dollar at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to argue.
Yeah, because it's going to be the survival of the fittest in the disc world, because if there's two of the same disc, one in West Side, one in DD, whatever sells the best, the other one's going to get
chopped.
You're going to get chopped.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be gone, and then maybe that'll be offered over here now, because it was more popular to begin with, but now it has another. That's why it seems to only make sense to consolidate this stuff down.
Well, it creates a collector market. When you cut a disc off, people that like that disc go out and buy as many as they can because they think they're never going to see it again.
Right.
And then that if they're,
it's like Coke Classic. You're too young to remember that, but Coca-Cola got rid of the original formula and went to something else.
Yeah.
And then everyone lost their mind.
So everybody had to go out and buy all the old Coke, huh?
Right. And then they came back and put it as Coke Classic. That's where that came from.
Okay.
And it never sold better. It was like, oh, it's back.
Finally.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think it was Pepsi had stole too much of the market, and they figured they got to change, they got to upgrade. But man, that was a huge mistake. But it ended up in the end being a good story, because
it's a good comeback.
They brought it back, and it was bigger than ever as a result. So I see it that way.
The disc market is probably a little bit different. It's not quite the size of Starbucks, where I guess there were riots today for getting the newest mug. So
what?
Yeah, I saw on my Facebook feed today. The first thing I woke up to were people getting mauled for their Starbucks cups.
It's not enough that it's a $7 cup of coffee?
No, they need their pink tumbler too.
Oh my Lord. People, you're losing your minds. It's a cup of coffee.
But at the end of the day, I've spent astronomical amounts of money on a disc. I spent $350 on one disc.
Yeah, it's not gone in 30 minutes.
Good point. I still have it, actually.
Exactly.
Exactly. Cherish it forever.
Exactly. This is the one case where plastic is good.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah, plastic has overall done a lot of harm, but
right. A lot of it's recycled, so if you're just tuning in, it's not all.
Don't cancel us yet.
Fresh oil. That's so great. So that's interesting. I see. I see a lot of contracts got signed.
Yep, a ton of stuff, a lot of extensions.
Going into 2024, right? Extensions, more extensions than really signings, right? There's a few.
Yeah, so it's not like a big splash like we expect with like the Gannon thing or the Eagle thing.
Right. But we were talking before this, and I brought the point up to Jay that I don't understand, as a business owner, laying out X amount of money towards the stable of players, knowing that they're never going to sell enough discs to pay for the cost of the player. They're under a 1-year contract. There's no way they can more than likely even get to probably a third of what their cost is to the
Yeah, so to think about
company.
how many discs you have to sell to recuperate the cost of what you put towards that player.
Right.
I mean, if the player cost you, what, $100,000, you've got to sell $200,000 worth of plastic.
Probably even more.
Maybe more.
Right.
To make your money back and break even.
I see what we're dependent on the markup, right? The actual cost.
Sure, if it costs them $3 to make the disc and you sell it
depending
to
on the plastic,
yeah,
it's going to be 3 to 6, let's say, somewhere in that ballpark.
Sure.
Yeah, because you're not putting product in it. It's just the plastic. So, and a stamp.
Yep, and your labor putting into it.
Yeah.
There's always it all adds up at the end of the day. Electricity that it cost you to run your injection molder, the engineer you had to turn it on and run it, the shipping costs, everything factors into how much that disc costs to get to your local store. Right. But it's got to take a lot to get that money back on your player.
So I don't think they go into it. And I think this is why companies like Innova release at the first of the year their players without really a lot of fanfare, because to them,
pretty lackadaisical.
It isn't a. They're happy to have them on the team. Welcome to the family. It's all that good stuff. Congratulations. But at the end of the day, I don't see how they're saying, wow, we really see that we're going to invest $1 and it's going to make us $3. There's only a few players in the world that can do that.
That really sell discs.
Right. And they're all spoken for long-term contracts.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Because they're worth it.
So the others are, I don't know, I think if you categorize it into marketing, and I'm not going to come at this from a how to run your business type of position, but I do think that if it's categorized into certain things that are write-offs at the end of the year, you're allowed to lose X amount a year. And I can't see how supporting 10 players or 20 players at $50,000 a pop, that those players can return that investment maybe to a third back in terms of sales, especially if it's a one-year contract, especially if it's their first year on the team. You're just supporting the player. You believe in the player. As a company, you're probably hoping that they win one of the majors, one of the major elites, right?
Yeah, because then it's all marketing worth it.
Right.
You saw that your name up in stars, right?
Right. The Isaac Robinson story.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know, if Gannon, which he is, truly leaving Prodigy, then, okay, Isaac brothers, the Robinson brothers now become there's Cal LaVisca. Who's the other long-term one we saw in there?
That are part of the team.
And Prodigy.
Oh, Kevin Jones.
Kevin Jones. Boom. Kevin Jones.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, great player. He's always around.
Yep.
You always see him. I'm a fan.
He's a very likable guy.
But at the end of the day, the point is that money, is Kevin Jones and the others, are they making enough money that the company is recouping their investment on the cost of those players annually?
Prodigy is just an interesting company, though, because I don't really sell a lot of it, and I don't know a lot of people that throw it. So it's kind of hard to say that they're selling enough discs. I have no clue how many discs they're selling. I could tell you exactly how much each of these companies in here sell. This is what the stuff people ask for.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's areas of the country where you see a lot more Prodigy because that's what's in demand.
I think it's interesting. I think it comes with this is your store, and you're going to put in here the things that you love and you believe in and you're going to sell. And
correct.
I'm not saying
yep.
Prodigy just somehow got on the bad list, Santa's bad list with you for whatever reason. And there were some reasons that were pretty legit. People were talking about the edges of the discs and
the flashing
and all that stuff was a problem. The plastic
breach of
wasn't
contracts.
great. There's the personal stuff with the players.
Any number of things, right?
Right. So it sort of wears on you. Do I want to invest in a company that doesn't seem to be taking care of their own very well, and seems to be a little messy?
Well, and I should just defend myself a little bit, because I did pick up a really big order of Prodigy when I opened the store. I made sure to stock it. I had a lot of it. The thing is, I had a lot of it for a long time. It didn't. I still have some of it right there from when I opened the store. So that's almost 3 years later that it's still on my shelf.
Okay.
So that, just to defend myself on like why I don't carry it, I would have carried it. I would have continued to order it if it had moved.
Okay.
I would have happily replaced it, right?
Right. It's not doing you any good sitting there. Is that in the 50% off rack I see?
Yep, that's where 3 years later.
I see that. I think 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 racks of 50% off. If you're in the Phoenix area, run on down because there's some EMAC Truce in there with some really cool stamps.
Yep.
And that's a $30 disc half off right there.
There's a couple of glow plastics over there. The Carter Aarons one is right there. He just signed with Lone Star. Just got himself a really cool disc, man. And I think that would be, honestly, a really great disc if he could have just stayed with DD to push it.
Can I tell you that was a mistake?
That was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
The kid's got a world of talent, and he signed a 1-year contract.
Is he 16, 17?
I have no idea how old. He's a young kid, though, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's a senior in high school. And we all know his name. That's pretty,
right.
That's pretty good.
That's right. They arranged a whole meet and greet with Ricky and a whole training session with the two of them. And how cool was that? I loved watching that.
And he doesn't have a mentor, I want to say, like that at. I mean, there's no.
A lot of people left.
There's not a world champion sitting over there.
No.
Right. 2-time world champion.
I think somebody said Nico left, but I hadn't heard anything about Nico.
No,
leaving.
He's there.
Okay.
He's locked in. His big announcement, people thought they ran with it. It was going to be he's leaving. But it was he had a
purchase property, right?
Purchase property.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the chainsaw, which is good.
Everybody seems to be doing it, man. Buying up property, making courses. That is kind of the future. You build it, they will come type mentality.
Well, look, I've been preaching it for months now that
private courses
are going to change the trajectory of this thing, and people, once they realize how much better that is, because you expect it to be the upkeep to be better, you expect the traffic flow and the cleanness of the land, and the lines and all of that may be a little bit more technical than utilizing a city park.
Yep.
So all that stuff matters.
Well, it won't be as busy, which for Arizona is kind of massive. A lot of these courses end up in public parks where people are hiking or walking their dogs.
Oh, yeah, the ancillary traffic,
Right, so it's kind of tough to play when Contecito's really busy.
Vista, it's a joke.
Vista has a 15, 20-minute long YouTube video of people getting hit / almost getting hit with discs.
Well, that's probably not good.
Trilogy made it a point to say, are you guys hosting tournaments? We're not going to make you a store if you guys are hosting tournaments at Vista. I was like, no, I mean, maybe, but not really. We got Kano across the street.
I'm not sure Fountain Hills is much better, though. Because I know a lot of those guys throw big hyzers out there, and it's right over the paths where people are walking, but it's
paths and streets,
30 feet above them.
Right.
But they're still, I mean, that thing, 75 miles an hour, 30 feet over there.
That'll crack a skull or two.
Grandma's head. Right. I mean, whoa.
Yeah, sketchy.
It's a little bit. Trust your arm, I'll tell you. But we digress. We squirreled away from that.
We did. Where did we even start?
Well, it was on the contracts and the
1-year
deals and why I think this is for companies. It just doesn't. It has to be a write-off. I can't. They're not looking at these 1-year contracts and going, boy, we know that player's going to return that investment that we're going to guarantee him on the year plus or her plus, right?
Well, and that's where you made a good point as to like why Innova does what they do. They cap their marketing off at this.
Yeah.
This is how much money we have for commercials and players and tournaments. That's all.
Yep.
And that's really smart, and it's worked for them.
Yep. Yeah. They don't throw, other than Calvin, which was a really good investment. So whatever his 5-year deal is, and I'm sure it's fairly complicated. I don't think they're guaranteeing. I'm sure they're guaranteeing a nice amount of money, but I also would believe that the incentives are pretty good.
I would hope so, because that guy deserves the world with how he played last year.
Yeah, and that might be that push that helps, right? I'm a little tired. Maybe I'll take this week off. We didn't see that with Calvin.
Nuh-uh.
Right? I'm hot. I'm going to stay hot. This is working. I mean, he was throwing in Silver Series last year when a lot of players weren't.
Yeah, taking the time off.
He was technically the hottest player on tour, and so it might speak volumes to that contract, though.
Sure, he well deserved the Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, Although I don't think anyone would have argued the two-time major winner in 1 year. That was a really close call.
It was a pretty good race for the.
It was great.
It definitely made it exciting.
It was excellent
Between Isaac and Calvin.
It was excellent. So, there's a lot of. We know of 3 10-year contracts. Drew Gibson.
Oh, was that a 10-year?
That's a 10-year.
Okay.
With infinite discs.
Yep.
Which is really interesting to me. And I could go into why, but and maybe we will at some point.
Yeah.
And then you have, of course,
Macbeth,
the 6-time world champion, and Simon Lizotte, everyone's favorite disc golfer, it seems, on the planet.
Yep. Just the most likable guy in disc golf at the moment.
And I think he even scratches his head and wonders why, how he got to that point in his life where
it's because he's so open and honest and goofy.
He's just likable.
Very likable.
We like honesty. We like truth. We like
Yep.
people to be vulnerable, and he's not afraid to be vulnerable. He'll say it the way he sees it, and even if it's self-deprecating or if it's maybe not in the best light for him as a elite thrower, right? He'll still say it.
Yep. No holding back, man.
Yeah, because he's a person first, and I think it really comes through. He's a likable guy.
That's why I think we all like awkward people, though, because they wear their heart on the sleeve.
Yeah, it's very true.
They're very honest.
That's very true. So below that, you've got some 5-year contracts. You know who's got a 5-year contract that I saw the other day? And he's on latitude 64.
Is it Linus?
Zuka. Bazooka's got a 5-year deal with them. And then there's another.
I don't know.
There's another 5-year deal in there, Latitude.
Okay.
And he's about to marry the world champion.
Wow, good for him.
For the FPO.
God, he's really way to go.
He got 5 years.
Silver lot.
So you got those two. I'm pretty sure. Looking over at Steven. Steven's
our tech guy. We should have featured him first.
Yeah, Bazooka. Linus Carlson.
Oh, I was right. Linus. Just message us, Linus, and let us know how we say your name.
Get on that.
Yeah, would you?
Want to know. I love the European players. I have a soft spot because I think they're going to lead the way in course development. I think they understand course. Well, I think they've had more of a run at this private course development. Look at that one island that they played on last year. I forget the name of it, but
I only know the same.
It was literally it was a national park or some sort of a park over there, and they ended up putting is it 4 or 10 disc golf courses on it, and now you have to take a ferry to get there, and the island is just disc golf. It's insane. They had a tournament there last year. Come on,
I would buy a tent.
You know this stuff better than I do. You know disc better than I do.
I lose track of a lot of stuff, unfortunately.
So I count on them as the ones, and I think when Worlds gets over there, I think we're really going to see a spectacle that we haven't seen in disc golf.
Like the European Open, that gallery that was out there, I still talk about that.
No, it'll double that.
I would love to see that.
It'll double that.
That'll be incredible.
So,
there's a lot of controversy between the major that lands in the middle of the European Tour right now too. They want to figure out because you're going to have to sacrifice. You either want to continue on the European Tour or go to the States and play the major. And you're basically strong-arming the players to play the major in the States for the tour points.
Which major?
I couldn't tell you which one it is. It's probably the Masters. So I think the Masters falls in the middle.
Well, is the Masters like a Disc Golf Pro Tour, or are you talking about older players?
No. The Masters is a
not the Champions.
Not the Champions Cup.
European.
The Masters Cup is the one that's held at, I want to say it's De La Vega. Up in California, Northern California.
I don't know either. Well, we'll circle back on that.
Yeah, we'll have to.
That's interesting. So where are we going with that one? We scrolled off again.
Well, we were talking about the European Championship
and
the European Tour, so contracts with the 5 years.
No. We're ahead of that now.
We're moving.
I think that what we see outside of St. Louis with Eagles Crossing and what not Barnesby, but
LaVisca.
Castro's trying to do in Houston, what LaVisca's done in Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think the Europeans have led the way for a long time now. So America's got to start catching up.
Yeah, I would like to
terms of-
learn how they did that if they got actual government funding to do that,
Oh, I'm sure.
because that's really what disc
I'm
golf
sure.
is missing is state money, country money
I'm sure.
to throw into course development.
But when you have, like, look, their countries are the size of our states.
Yep.
In terms of population,
Pretty tighter,
a lot
yep.
of them. Yeah. So there's gonna be more green getting done on a national level.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So the politics aren't as brutal
Yeah,
in those situations
that
where
makes
you can
sense.
we can agree collectively that we want the society, our community, our citizens to be able to play disc golf at various places. It's healthy, it's good, it's outdoors. So many pluses in disc golf.
Yep, a lot of wins.
So many. Mental.
Pros, yes.
The mental part of it. I think people need to get outside and throw discs to
Well, I think
clear their heads, man.
I probably made this point once before, but I understand why golf is popular amongst the social and the financial elite. Is because it really is a thinking man's game.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you kind of prioritize and categorize in your mind what to do, and you can take that into your personal and professional life,
Right.
what you use on the course, and then bring it into fruition almost.
And to do it under pressure.
Yeah, right, when it matters.
Right, because if you're playing and there's business people around, that's pressure.
It is.
You're playing in a tournament, it's pressure. Even if you're playing with your buddies in some sort of Nassau, there's a little bit of cash flow on the line.
Some skins going on.
That's some pressure.
Yep.
And that really helps when you go into, your business is
Your professional environment.
Yeah.
Your personal environment.
Yeah. Yes. That's why I'm not a huge fan of this younger generation is so monocultured now in terms of sports. So if they grew up in where I'm from in Minnesota, we used to play hockey all winter long, but then we transitioned into baseball, we transitioned into golf, we transitioned into football, we transitioned in,
Yeah.
you'd have
You're a multi-sport kid.
right. Your closet it had something of every sport in it, right? Yeah. Soccer balls in there, everything was in there. Now these kids, the money's so big in football, it's so big in baseball.
Right.
What did they just sign the guy in 700
Ohtani?
700 million? It's some crazy number like that.
Yeah, and it was like a
play
10-year
baseball
contract, I want to say. He was getting $70 million a year.
Okay. So if you're mom and dad, you're saying, okay, well, maybe you don't need to hurt yourself playing this, and maybe you don't need to hurt yourself playing that.
You better focus here,
Stay
pal.
on this, yeah. And we can train, and you can build all the muscles that are for that sport, and blah, 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 blah. And I just, I don't think that's as healthy as what we got to experience in our days, where
a little more diversity.
Well, and there's the team aspect was always good, to be in a locker room with friends and learning to work with others and counting on others to come through, and
absolutely,
and maybe being a hero for the team. That, I mean, all those opportunities.
When you have your moments, yeah.
It's not just about you; it's about the collective.
Yep.
And so I think it's sad if we lose that in society, because sports become so, and disc golf is no different. I think it's important for kids to start it young, because I'm starting it older and it's quite hard. And I know people that play golf late in life really struggle with it, but I played golf very early in life, so I don't.
Yep.
Same with hockey and skating, and all of that is like walking to me.
Yeah.
But to other people, it's like, holy cow, that's how do you do that? You know, but my brain's wired now as a result. So I hope that more parents look at that hard when their kids are coming up and maybe they're only playing disc golf, and I think that's great, but I think there's a season for it, and I think there's a season that they should be focused on something else too.
I do meet a lot of kids that are really, really into disc golf, and I think you're right. I think that's all they do. I don't think they have any other team sports. I don't think they have any other individual sports either. I think it's just disc golf.
Yeah, I think it really does help build your character at a young age, when you can
competing in tournaments,
be in team events and tournaments. And one thing golf it exposes someone's character quite quickly. You know, if they're a hothead or not,
you'll see it.
You'll see it. You'll see it.
Yeah, good point.
And I think maybe that's what some of the business elites liked about the game. It was like, I'm going to go into business with this person, or do I want him to work for our company or
Let's see
our
if I
firm
can
or whatever?
rattle him.
Yeah, let's see what he's made of.
Uh-huh.
Let's see how solid the clay is.
God,
Right?
I need to start talking more trash on the course.
Absolutely.
I don't think
It's
I
the
do.
best part.
I don't think I do any sort of that.
Well, that Monday doubles that we went to, the big boy dubs here at Contestito.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're in Phoenix, anywhere near the west side of Phoenix on Monday at 3:30, there's a great Ricky Wysocki. I mean, Anthony. There's 5 tour guys there.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a pretty good collective.
And then guys like me, and then you draw cards and you get paired with these guys, and it's a best shot for 18 holes, and you play the course as long as it could possibly be played, and every hole's a par 3, which is crazy because some of them are over.
They're
long. A couple of them are long.
They're tough par 3s.
They're really hard. But 16 down won it.
That's disgusting.
Which is nuts because there's
that's 2 misses.
Yeah.
And hole 10 is 500 and some feet,
550
right, with trees.
And there's 2 others that are over 450. So you're getting one of those. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's a roller that worked out. I think
it's a great time, and it's open to everybody.
A lot of trash talk.
It's a lot of fun. That's where the trash talk is.
Yes.
I've never heard so much.
We chattered a lot
talk.
that round, though. I usually am pretty quiet.
Jordan Castro loves trash.
Oh, he sure does.
You can hear him across the course.
Well, it doesn't help. His voice carries. It punches the air.
Yeah.
He comes to every Tuesday league, too.
He's a good player. I hope he figures a way to get back out there this year.
Yeah, I think he needs to just reset his focus. Maybe this offseason was good for him, I hope.
A little reset. All right, good.
Because that's a hard thing to do, reset your focus.
I wanted to give Tommy Guns a shout out because I thought the trophy that he handed out for the big arm at Vista was better than any of the trophies I saw on the Disc Golf Pro Tour last year.
It looked like a real trophy.
It was unreal.
It was like a crystal arm.
It was a crystal arm.
Yep.
A big arm.
A bicep. A big arm. Yeah, it was a big arm.
Fantastic. And a ring.
Oh, and the ring. I forgot he had the rings done.
So he's doing the rings because he knows he's going somewhere with this. So great job. It's good seeing you around town.
He does the DFO every year, the Desert Flyers Open, and the Big Arm Challenge every year. So he's got 2 big tournaments a year, and they are getting better every single year. Yeah. They're maturing very, very well. Yeah. He always goes big. It's always loud. It's always fun.
I think Tommy is leading the way at you're also, I know you guys are working hard and there's others in town, but it just seems like it could attract these A status sanctioned tournaments.
It's going to be time to apply for some A tiers. Yeah.
I think so. I think so too.
Tournaments need to have a tenure before. I think they need to have like 3 years running or 5 years something.
But I think
of history.
In his case, he's got it, and he's got like.
Oh yeah, he certainly does.
Parker Welk won it, so Aaron Gossage was there. AB was there. Oh my God, it was a great list.
It was
for an off-season tournament.
God, they had over 100 pros.
Yeah, it was outstanding
total between all the pro divisions.
It's outstanding. More of that, please.
It was fun.
Yeah, in the Valley. Love to see it. That's cool. So I don't know if we go back to who had 5 years and who had 4 years and who's got 3 years, but it's Natalie
Ryan.
Ryan has got a 5-year with Neptune. Yeah, I still haven't seen a Neptune disc. Have you?
No, I have no idea what they look like.
And she's been sponsored for over 2 years, and no one's seen a Neptune disc.
Well, there was, I'm sure, some difficulties with that. She wasn't exactly part of the tour. Was it last year where there was all that controversy?
But she's still throwing them. She apparently has Neptune discs.
Yeah.
Where is that? So
I don't know. I don't know where you can buy one. I'm sure you got to go to Infinite or somewhere to buy one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I don't sell them here.
I've never seen them. So looking back at that, and I don't mean to be so scrambly and squirrely on this, but we had 10, we had 5, and she was one of the 5s.
One of the 5, yep.
And then 4 was like Dickerson.
That's a good pickup.
That's a good pickup. AB should have been 4. Why they've signed AB to 2, I will never understand that, because now he's going to have a banner year.
Watch him ball out this year.
He's going to ball out, and Discraft is going to have to come up with the cash flow at the end of the year.
Yeah, because if they can't hold on to him, man, somebody's going to offer him something.
Something.
It's going to be like how MVP is
Because I
looking
think
at players now.
AB is one of those players going back that moves discs.
Moves some
And
plastic.
he also moves clothing.
Oh, yeah, his jerseys are sick.
They're really cool with the whole Arizona theme. And
He reps Arizona really
he's
well.
got the Diamondbacks vibe going on with the pinstripes. And he just seems to have that swagger as a young man.
Yep.
That all these kids down in Phoenix that I see all have AB gear.
They do.
They don't have like...
We got to root for our boy, though.
I see more AB gear than I do see Phoenix Coyotes hockey gear.
Yeah.
In this valley. I swear to God.
Yeah.
The guy's crushing it.
Yeah. Well, he is easy to support. We want to support him.
So for that reason, and the fact that he's one hell of a player, and I think he's going to have one hell of a 2024, he's going to be a hard get. Discraft, why they gave him 2 years when they could have given him 3 or 4? I mean,
yeah, let's see what he does this year. His game's getting better and better, man.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, it was
Why
just his putting.
forward?
It was never anything else but his putting.
And that, well, I would argue mental game.
Yeah, well,
because his putting's good, but I think between the ears he would get frustrated and start getting in his head a little bit with finishing the hole.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I feel that way with Goose a little bit. As we talk about the elite players.
I know they were talking about him working on something. He's working on something for this coming season, how he wants to putt.
But Goose is going to get another 2 from Discraft. We know that.
I think, was it 2 or 3?
Exclusive. 2.
Oh, okay.
I thought it should have been 3. I said go for 3. Don't take less than 3.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Yes.
Damn near won a world championship.
Well, not only that, but he had how many top 10s last year? He was like around.
Yeah, he's got an elite forehand.
And backhand.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's just a good guy. A good head on his shoulders. Great family to support him. So, it's all green. It's all green lit.
Yeah, right.
For the Goose. But he's got 2 years coming from Discraft, which is great. It's certainly better than 1. But
Discraft's got a killer team.
They really do. And
they sound like they're a little bit smarter with their contracts compared to some of these other companies. The fact that they're handing out 2 and 3, 4 years, is a step above what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to hear about the Latitude 5 years. Really happy to hear about those contracts.
Yeah. So when you talk about House of Discs, Latitude is going to be one of those companies that stays because that is an anchor in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take all of House of Discs drivers, which I mentioned before, it's only equal to the amount of drivers that Innova has in that category of distance drivers. And
well, Innova's got like 180 approved molds or something crazy.
Yeah, it's a huge number. But all of those brands combined, it was equal to Innova. It was like two more than Innova had.
Yeah.
In the driver category, which I found interesting. So to that point, they can certainly streamline this thing down and make it a lot easier for them over there, which I think they will.
Well, what golfers would be looking for, and who knows if they're going to try to capitalize on this, is like consistency. When you buy one trespass 10 years ago versus today, you would like it to fly the same. And that's really not possible with a lot of the injection molding process, but Latitude is kind of known as the guys that are the best in the game when it comes to injection molding. They're very, very talented. They keep their cards close to their chest. Nobody really knows their process except for them. They don't really have misprints. They do, but they're few and far between compared to other companies. So they don't have a lot of mistakes under their belt. And they've got new machines that they're dialing in very well with, like the Grace and all the other Supreme plastics.
Yeah. Well, their plastic's amazing. Did we find out who's putting Castoplast on the market? Did they have their own, or is it all done through House of Disc?
Well, they were done in Stockholm, but Latitude bought 60% of the company or something. Was it last year or the year before? So they've been producing the Castoplast plastic since then.
Okay.
So most of that stuff over there was made in the weird town that Latitude's located in, not Stockholm.
Okay.
I can't pronounce the name that Latitude's located in.
Okay. Well, it's hard to compete against. Well, I mean they are, but it's that European plastic, whatever that blend is over there, is
They are doing it, man.
they're
I
really
love it.
making great feeling discs.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
I mean, I would like to know some more about the Innova plastic from like 10, 15 years ago. Because Innova's plastic, I throw a lot of old destroyers because it's simply, I think, the best plastic feel and lifespan that I've ever experienced. I've had a Brinster destroyer in my bag for ages, and my God, it's just a dream. It's glidey and overstable, and it's flown the same since I got it.
Huh.
And I've thrown it into a lot of things, rocks, trees, all kinds of stuff. It's hit. And it flies the same. There's something about how good that plastic was. Nobody's got anything like that nowadays. And that's not exactly what the manufacturers want to do, because if a disc lasts forever, well, then how do you replace it? You have to lose it. You want your disc to beat up really quickly. That way you got to replace it, right?
That's like the the shoe company Crocs.
Yeah.
Was it? Everyone loved them when they came out because they were so comfortable. They looked terrible, and I don't know if there's a woman on planet Earth that says that's a good looking shoe, but but they're so comfy, but the problem was they last forever.
That is a problem for Crocs, not for the consumer, right?
Right, they last, but it's a problem for Crocs. If you're in the business of selling shoes,
you want to sell more shoes,
right? Yeah, you're making something that's indestructible. It's fantastic, but at the same time, you're not going to get the repeat customers.
Yeah, and disc golfers have been pretty well supporters too. They're happy to buy a new disc.
But
very happy to.
Even if they do the short runs, though, like Innova goes back and they maybe that plastic is available, but it's the profit supply. The profit margins are half of what they are with some of the other plastics, because the volume of the other availability of the other blah 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 blah.
Right.
So, but then do the special runs.
Well, and it would be
gobble
great.
It up, wouldn't we?
I would pay more for the disc if it felt like that Brinster.
Right. There's an idea for Innova.
Yeah, please.
Not that they're lacking in ideas.
Shoot us an email and we'll fill you in. Just run the Proline Monster again.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, are we good? Are we tapped out on topics?
Well, we'll be back in a few more days.
That's true. Yeah, today was a late start in the week for us to today, Thursday. Yeah. So, and we were pretty smooth.
Yeah. Well, good job. Good to see you. See you in a couple of days.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night, guys.